Hi, this is Dr. Jeff Golden with St. Leo University. I've created this lecture because of an ongoing demand by criminal justice students for a tutorial on how to find authoritative research, which means using primarily government publications and peer-reviewed journal articles. Our criminal justice program requires you to be able to perform online academic research that's acceptable at the university level. And that means you must learn to do something more than type in a query in a Google search box. You must be able to find and reference authoritative sources. What are authoritative sources? In the field of criminal justice, there are really just two sources of information that are always going to be authoritative: government publications and peer-reviewed journal articles. Both are published only after exhaustive review by experts in the field, and both are relied upon by authorities and scholars. Your use of either or both types of sources will demonstrate that you understand the value of using only the most reliable and accurate information. Anything less is simply not as authoritative. Government publications are almost always authoritative sources, so finding a document on any government website will likely suffice. Any reputable search engine should be able to lead you to a government criminal or juvenile justice agency that publishes research online. There's also an easy way to find peer-reviewed journal articles, the other authoritative source. It's our online library at St. Leo University. Can you use Google or Bing or Yahoo or any other search engine to try to find academic research? Maybe, but you'll never find the quantity or quality of academic research on such engines compared to St. Leo University's online library. Why is that? Because those search engines are not designed to find only authoritative research, nor is such research easily found there. In fact, most academic research can only be found if you pay for a subscription to the academic journals in which they're published. Luckily, our university has already got that subscription. They've even paid for you to access all that research as part of your tuition and use of their online resources. On commercial web search engines, the source is likely to be not very authoritative. You'll find some, I'm sure, including reputable newspapers and magazines, but reputable is not the same high quality as authoritative. So as a rule, I strongly suggest you use only our online library to find peer-reviewed journal articles. Let me walk you through an example of searching for a peer-reviewed journal article. First, let's go to the main page of the St. Leo University online library. The direct link is slulibrary.stleo.edu, and that's probably the fastest way to get there, and that's what you're looking at on the screen right now. You can also access it from our D2L course page by opening the Resource tab, which you'll see on the screen here is scroll down toward the bottom, Resources, and you'll see DL Online Library. And if you click on that, it will take you to a Click Here link, and that takes you to the same Canon Memorial Library homepage with a search engine. Let's use the search box to type some keywords for a search. And you need to ask yourself, what are the keywords that'll help me with my research? To explain the research process, I'm going to search for peer-reviewed journal articles on female juvenile arsonists. So let's type into the search box the keywords female juvenile arsonists. And hit enter. If you look over here on the left-hand side, you'll see there's a check in the box marked All Formats. All formats means peer-reviewed journal articles plus non-peer-reviewed journal articles, but we only want to use the peer-reviewed ones, so let's check the peer-reviewed box. So there are 14 articles in total, but only 10 that are peer-reviewed. Do you have to read all the articles? No, absolutely not. But I do suggest you read the titles of the articles to see if they specifically refer to female juvenile arsonists. If the title uses the search terms, it's a good bet the entire article examines the subject. Don't just look at the first 3 or 4 titles. Look at the first 3 or 4 pages of article titles. It'll only take a minute or so to do that. Here you'll see in front of you the first 2 articles explicitly use the term female juvenile arsonist in the title, so it's a very good bet the articles deal with them. Let's click on the first article titled Female Juvenile Arsonists, an Exploratory Look at Characteristics and Solo and Group Arson Offenses by Hickel and Rose Sepowitz. Now, every publisher has a different screen format for their articles, so don't be surprised if you don't see this exact format with a different article. On this screen, there are 2 things you should note. First, you need to click on the View Full Text in order to see the article. And what comes up is not the full article, actually. If you scroll down, all you see is the abstract, and the abstract is not going to give you the information you need in order to write your paper. So the 2 things I want you to look at is, on the first far right side, look where it says Cite. This is going to be the quickest and easiest way for you to get a proper APA citation. Click on Cite, and you can scroll down until you see APA, and right here you can copy and paste a perfect APA citation. It's as simple as that. Now, unfortunately, not every publisher offers this citation link, so you are going to have to learn how to properly create citations. We'll work on that in our final video. The second thing I want you to note is on the left side, to get to the full article, you have to click PDF Full Text. And in a few seconds, the entire article is going to come up. Now, the first page or 2 of any peer-reviewed article is going to have all the information you need to create a proper APA citation, meaning the author's name, the title of the journal, the volume and issue, the page numbers of the article, and a DOI. And if there's no DOI, you can copy and paste the URL at the top of the screen for this full text article. The URL for anything else is going to be incorrect. So in this case, you can see right at the top, here's the title of the journal, Legal and Criminological Psychology. There's the year. The volume is 15. The page numbers of the article are 385 to 399. And we don't see a DOI, but let's scroll down. Remember I said look at the bottom of the first page or 2. And there at the bottom of the first page is that DOI. If you didn't find a DOI, you go to the top and copy and paste this URL, the URL with the full article on it, in order to properly locate this article in the future. Now, here's an important tip. You do not have to read the entire journal article. Some of these journal articles can be fairly long. Most are somewhere in the nature of 10 to 15 pages. Not a lot to read, but you don't have to read the whole thing. In fact, the entire middle section of most journal articles presents the data from the study, and that's simply not needed for most of your research papers. What is needed is the first few pages of information that explains what the study was about, and the last few pages that explain the results. And often those results are at the end entitled either discussion or implications or something like that. That information is going to be the most important for your papers. So looking at this Female Juvenile Arsonists peer-reviewed journal article, you can see page 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and just a little bit of 5 talk about what this article, what the contents is all about. And then we get into the method, and this is what I mentioned about the data. You don't need to go into the data and the results. That's not something you're going to be asked to analyze except for one paper. At the end, you'll see the discussion section. Those are the results summarized. Most of what you will need for your paper will probably come out of this discussion section. Sometimes there's an implications section as well. And then, of course, at the end of every journal article are the references. Now, if you find just a single journal article that is on point, that is exactly what you want to do your research about, keep in mind that if you look at the references in that article, you're going to find a lot of peer-reviewed journal articles that also deal with the same subject. So if you find one article that's really exactly what you want to do your research on, the references section is a great place to find even more information.